Another brick fan with a polybag review. This is Gift Animals. This is set number 30666. Was released in January 2024. It has 75 pieces, no minifigures, and cost about $5 when it was released. As you can see, this is a 3-in-1 set from the creator theme, and the main build looks like a dog, of course. Maybe a collie with the big floppy ears, which looks pretty nice. And then there's a rat, and then there's a mouse, it looks like, as one of them. And then maybe, I don't know what that is, just a kind of a ground squirrel or some small animal there as well. Perhaps a different kind of dog? Not sure. We'll take a look at all three builds though as we go through this review. So let's go ahead and build the primary build, which is this little dog. Here's the first of three builds, and like I said, this is a dog with big floppy ears that you can position up and down. The head, of course, is on a ball joint, so lots of ability to move the head around. The nose is done with this black tile and then just regular black and white eyes. I like the use of these rounded tiles here on the sides, and then there is a 1x2 rounded tile here in the back for the tail. Tail, of course, is on a hinge or is on a clip there, so it can move up and down. The legs are all four of the legs are done with a pin connector here at the hip, and then a clip at the bottom, so you get quite a bit of ability to move this dog around. And with the use of the tail, you can kind of get him into sitting position if you wanted to. So a lot of posability actually for this particular dog, with the way you can move his head around and his ears around, as well as all four legs. So definitely a lot of ability to pose this character how you would like, which I think makes it really kind of a fun little build. Of course, it's nice also that this is a creator 3-in-1 set. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other builds you can build with pieces from this set. Here is the first of the alternate builds for the gift animals. And now that I've built this, it almost looks like it could be a little bear cub, perhaps. So 4 big feet. Everything about this is smaller, of course, than the dog. The legs are pretty much the same, actually, but it's shorter and just the feet are smaller. The head actually is a little bigger, but it's more kind of this triangular shape. So honestly, I think I'm going to call this a little bear cub. I like how the ears were done with these little rounded tiles here in the back to kind of create those big ears in the back. The nose is pretty much the same as the dog. The eyes move a little bit more because they're on those pin pieces with the stud on them. The feet turned out good. I like, again, having a bunch of these 1x2 rounded tiles are nice. All the legs articulate at the feet and everything. And there is a little tail here in the back, as you can see. So we could have our little bear cub sit up. And once again, his head is on that ball joint, so we get a lot of posability. And honestly, I think there's quite a bit of expression here on the face, even though you can't see the mouth of this particular animal. So this one actually turned out a little better than I originally thought, but I still think the other two builds are the best of the three. But this one is not bad for sure. So let's go ahead and take a look at the mouse now. Here is the third build. And once again, just looking at it from kind of like this angle, like it was in the picture, You know, I guess it could be a little mouse perhaps, but now, you know, in the other one, the one that I think more looks like a bear now that I've seen it built, look kind of like a chipmunk. I think this has kind of a chipmunk look as well with his big bushy tail, or groundhog. So I guess this one is probably more the groundhog chipmunk rather than the, you know, the bear, this other build that we just looked at. I like the way they did this tail, but it's a big bushy tail. So I think a squirrel kind of makes the most sense. They're the ones that seem to have the big bushy tails. And of course he's sitting up. Same kind of nose as the other two. The smaller ears, once again, incorporating a bunch of these 1x2 rounded tiles. His eyes are on the side of the head there. Arms facing forward, little feet down here in the front. Some tiling here just to make things a little smoother. The ears move a little bit. No articulation in the head or the arms. The tail's on the ball joint this time, so we can move that around. So I guess my initial impressions of all of these builds, at least the other two alternate builds, were not very spot on, but once again, it is Lego. You can kind of use your imagination as to what you think each of the characters are. But I'm going to go with like a dog for the first one, which I think was a pretty easy call. The next one, actually, when it's built, and that triangular head, looking closer at it, I think kind of like a bear cub seems to be what I would pick for that. And this one, I think I'm going to call a squirrel. So let's go back to the original build, and I'll sum up the set for you. Now back to the main model. Again, I think this is a really good set. 3 really nice little models. I think all 3 are certainly nice little models that can be displayed or just built or moved around however you'd like. As far as value goes, we get 75 pieces, 3 different kinds of builds, all in this one set for $5. I think that's a great deal. And of course, for people who like different parts, there's some good ones in here that can be repurposed into other building projects. Hope you've enjoyed my thoughts on this polybag set. I'm going to get started on my next video. And until then, happy building. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and be sure to subscribe to see more of my LEGO content. I've left a link to my Polybag review playlist up here on the screen.